like, I love these I'll tell you what's crazy about this. What I love about TikTok is this, and this is exactly, if I'm in a bar and it's karaoke, I can't shut you off. I can't scroll to the next video. Like, I can't do that. Well, you might want to go with singing lessons. You know what I mean? You might want to maybe warm up a few octaves there before we can just start singing. Now walk from here. The shadows and drums bring in my heart. The thunder of glass. Alright, hold on, let's see. Sorry, apart. You will. I need this one. Alright, man, for as much as I bash TikTok and the social media algorithms, man, I gotta give them that. They material cannot get enough of that AC/DC cover. Another chain restaurant trying to pull you in with the all-you-can-eat system. We saw it bankrupt somebody else. Are they headed down this path? We'll find out at 8. Also, restaurant workers are speaking up. They don't want more money per hour. They're after something else. I had said this was true. This was true of me when I was a server. But we'll get to all of that. Take a look around the restaurant world. We'll do that at 8 a.m. All right, people will use this word with me a lot. Ego. God, your ego is out of control. God, you're so egotistical. Oh my God, you just think you know everything. And I always laugh and sit back in my chair and think, I can't believe people are shocked I passed out my opinion on my opinion program. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just shocked by it, right? And speaking definitively about things is how you convey message. I've said it forever. If I was in here shaking at the knees, weak-willed, you'd be like, who put this guy in there? You need the confidence, right? I don't get everything right. I've admitted when I've gotten things wrong plenty of times. Just this week, I did it like 3 times. I bring it up not to talk about that, but to talk about ego. Because it's everywhere. It's not just me. It's everywhere. And I've told people who have said they are going to see the end of the earth that somebody will be alive when it happens. I doubt very highly it will be you or I. I could be wrong. We could be wiped out tomorrow. I don't think so. I'll bet the under though. I believe human beings negatively affect the planet. I have said all I buy into some form of climate change is that human. Whether or not I believe I can be taxed enough money to fix climate change? No. And I've said, don't even try it. You have more than enough on your plate you're supposed to be fixing already, and you suck at every last bit of it. How dare you be standing here asking me for more responsibility? That to me seems crazy. But I'm the egotistic lunatic, so maybe I'm wrong. And maybe I am. I don't believe there's a tax. You can tax me. I know you can take my money, and then I know you can launder it, and I know you can use it for what you want, but I'll still have waves and tornadoes, and I'll still be having all of that stuff, right? I'll still be having all of that. I mention it because 48% believe they're going to see climate change destroy the earth. No, you're not. You're not. And I'll go so far as to make you a promise that will not happen. Not all that surprising, Hawaii is the state, 66%, where people believe they are going to see this happen. right? Hawaii has suffered natural disasters throughout my entire life. You were close to the ocean. There's that whole California break off, float away as your own island thing. A crater by tanker truck. I could understand people being like, dude, I don't know about this place, right? Like I can understand that. I could get that. Vermont came in second. Okay, close to the coast there. All right, fair enough. I can maybe see it. New Mexico being the third state with the highest level of people saying, oh, I'm going to watch climate change destroy the earth. I don't know. I find that to be crazy. Or, not crazy. Surprising's the better word there. And that is actually what I mean is surprising. More than half of respondents in Washington, Minnesota also believe they'll be alive when this happens. I think it's ego that you're going to get to see the end of the world. That to me feels like I'm important. Everything I'm
Welcome to the
in my
channel.
life is
If it's your
important.
first
I'm
time,
stressed
please
out.
like and
I also
subscribe.
feel like it's
Check us out over on
you want
Facebook
to see
too.
this
Road
you were
Dog
there
Travel
for it.
over there.
It's the concert T-shirt of the world. I know you're not going to be standing around in the lobby of heaven telling everybody, dude, I was there. Did you see
Different
that?
kinds of video available on our channel.
Feel as if they're going to be around
Travel video,
for these big
cooking,
moments,
gardening.
and I just don't buy it. 65% of
Vacations.
people, regardless of where they live, wish that they could do more to be
Little bit for
environmentally
everybody.
conscious in their day-to-day lives. What do you mean you wish?
Thank you
could
for
do?
watching.
You could do that. There are a lot. You mean you wish there was a list of things you could do that would be easy and inexpensive to do it? Oh, okay. Well, that's a completely different answer. And it is a completely different answer, right? Like, that's insane. Laura Scott, Director of Brand Marketing at Avocado Green, said, our experiences include where we live have an understandable impact on our worries about climate change. Quote, that's why learning about the ways we can protect the environment in our local communities is a great way to get involved and see firsthand the change we're making. Yeah, except for the problem is, man, like, people have seen this in motion and nothing come out of the other end of it. And this is what I mean. I lived through you have to recycle or you're a terrible person PR campaign, right? I lived through that and so did you. Every year, the news will run a story that talks about, it's about 15% of stuff that you recycle actually gets recycled. The rest of it just goes to the landfill. It's all just us making people feel like they're making a difference. And you want to feel like you're making a difference. So, we put it on top of the trash can. You think you're not, you think you're knocking it out of the park. But at the end of the day, dude, it's all gone. Like twice a year, the news will run that story. And so people they've become a little too like, I don't care, dude, you're lying. And it's not lying about the problem, but you're lying about whether or not you're going to fix it. And then turning around and acting shocked people don't buy in. I think it's less people don't believe that weather and climate could be a threat to them and their livelihoods in the future. What they don't believe is that you are going to be able to do anything to protect them from it. That's what they don't believe. That's where the disconnect is. And if you can fix that messaging, you may be able to win some people over to your side. But I've said this forever, and I believe I am right about it. Asking people to care about climate change is always going to be a tricky thing. What you're asking is that people care about people who haven't been born yet. You're asking that of people who don't know the names of their neighbors. That's a big, big ask, man, and I'm not sure you're going to get it done that way. Welcome back to the Stansbury Show on Rock 106.9. Rocking the bank with you 9 a.m. $1,000 keyword up for grabs. We had been talking about climate change, and it's because 48% of people in a recent survey had said that they believe they will be alive to see it. I doubt very highly that that will be true. As a matter of fact, I'll go so far as to guarantee that that will not be true. Not that I don't believe we've seen effects of things. Every time I talk this, people will bombard me with that George Carlin clip where he talks about how ridiculous it is, racist this country is. Systemically, inherently, all of it. You want to talk about those too? Or just the part where you agree with them? Just that one? Imagine that. Imagine that. Also, how many years did George Carlin spend in college studying these matters? Right? It's like, it's a comedy bit. Right? Like, it's like people kind of forget that sometimes. But I don't believe you are going to see the end of the planet. I just don't buy that. I don't buy it, right? 3 states where people Vermont, I was like, maybe, all right, a little bit. And then New Mexico, I was like, that one's wild to me. I don't quite understand. You're worried about the ocean, sweeping over. Okay, I can maybe see it.
A little town
Dan actually wrote
Creek.
into Facebook, the Stansbury Show, and said, Alaska? What about them? It's like, yeah, that's a good call. That's a good call. Also in this survey, people had said they wish they could do more to be more socially and, environmentally conscious. You mean you wish it was easier or less expensive to do it? There are plenty of ways.
With the world's largest cuckoo clock.
Also in this survey, what did they find? People are lying. Absolutely right. Why do you actually do these things? Is it because you care about the planet? Or does it make you feel like you're a good person? It makes me feel like a good person.
Again, we have video
overwhelmingly the response
of the world's largest cuckoo clock here in Sugar Creek
now,
on our channel.
Some people are going to tell me no wrong reason to do the right thing. And I bet if we tried hard enough, we could find the wrong reason to do the right thing, right? If we were really, technically, there would be a way to find that. But in most cases, you would be right about that. You would be right about that. I think a lot of people are turned off on it because it's just become a way to make things more expensive. Hey, this is green. Buy Toms of this and buy this. And it's just a way to charge more for the same product. A lot of people believe that that's the reality. And so I think people have just become a little like, dude, I ain't trying to hear it, dude. You know what I mean? Hey, the government's going to fix the wind. They can't fix my street, but they're going to fix the wind, right? Like, that's where people are jumping off. Like, that's where it is right there. They don't see their local government fixing anything in their city. And yet they're told, just give us all your money and we'll protect you from the wind. It's like, that's insane. Like, it is. As a guy who believes in these things, that kind of messaging is craziness. Like, it is. You're going to have to show them real fixes on the human level, dude, on their street level before they start buying into stuff nationally and like how all of that goes. That's going to be the reality, right? I also think it's because most of us realize there are bigger threats out there than a tsunami wave in the United States. Again, it was just this week, the man they call the AI Godfather said, universal basic income will be a necessity. AI technology is coming for more jobs than they're telling you. He claims, by the way, they already know it. They're scrambling, trying to figure out how to admit it to you, and behind closed doors, they are panicking as they're trying to get companies not to release more and more people because they already know they can do it because they already have some of the systems ready to go to replace you. He says it's all here. He says people worry that this is coming. He said, it ain't coming. It's here. They're fending it off with a chair and a whip. And I would imagine he is right about that. Jeffrey Hinton is who people call the AI Godfather. I'm not calling him that. That's how he's referred. He says, quote, I was consulted by people in Downing Street and I advised them that universal basic income is going to be a good idea. He said AI would increase productivity and wealth, but the money's going to go to the rich and not the people whose jobs get lost. And that's going to be very bad for society. Yeah, no, duh. That's why I've been screaming about it for 10 years. Because it's a huge problem. And it's going to put everybody out of work. And people then go, well, I kind of like the idea of universal basic income. You do? Why? Well, my basic necessities will be taken care of. Right. But when somebody else is giving you the money needed to stay alive, you know what else they get to tell you, don't you? Where you stay alive. Well, if you're going to take the universal basic income, I mean, we're not really doing this to intend for you to live in your own building over here. You think I'm kidding? You think I'm a tinfoil hat conspiracy theorist? Some of you are going, see, he's all right, and I knew it. Because those are the terms we have heard online, and you parrot those, and now I'm wrong. I think a lot of times when people push back on when I say things like that, it's denial and fear mixed together, and you go, nah! And he's saying in this article I'm reading at BBC.com, they're begging corporations not to release people right now because corporations already know they can. Like, that's what COVID was. This is not my theory, but he was like, Dan, they know what universal basic income is going to do. They know it's going to be people locked into their homes, and they wanted to see what it looked like. It's like, you kind of lost me on that one, dude. And he said, he goes, really? This is how he tried to sell me on it. I still think it's nuts, but he tried to sell me on it like this. He's like, Dan, COVID wasn't a United States thing. That was a worldwide thing. It's like, Dan, AI is a worldwide problem. It's going to put people out of work all over the place. That was their plan. They're trying to figure this out. And I was like, I don't believe they set up COVID to try to figure out how to combat the human pushback against AI. I don't believe that. I do believe somebody inside the COVID system when we were in it went, you know what we might be able to figure out right now? Like, I think that could have happened. Yes, we're going to do a test run. That's where you lose me. Like, I'm crazy, but I'm not insane, right? Like, it's kind of one of those things. But I worry about that creating destruction for me, you, and everybody else way more than I do climate change, and I believe in that too. Is another reason, because that's what the right to stay alive. You know, that gets us back into the, you don't in this country are in like and become think that's what honestly you much like probably shouldn't mix these two things together, but you know, my parents were I told them universal take. And again, you know, it was about 5 years ago. I was talking AI in here, and some people thought I was, you know, ringing an alarm and all of that. And nobody cares when it's taking $50,000 factory jobs away from jobs. And once it does, you'll watch writers go, when it was Indiana, Ohio, and dudes getting wiped out of their job, never going back to work ever again, suck it, learn the code, everything else. Hey, we're coming after your job. This isn't right, right? Again, that's kind of, and that's exactly what happened. And people started to ring the bell about it, right? Professor Hinton, for anybody that doesn't know, is the pioneer of neural networks, which form the theoretical basis of current explosion in artificial intelligence, which proves without a shadow of a doubt, I just read a sentence I don't understand. Until last year, he worked at Google, but left the tech giant so he could talk more freely about the dangers from unregulated AI. And I think this is a bigger problem facing me than the wind. I'm sorry, I just do, right? I think two problems can exist at the same time, but what we should do is triage, right? Like, all right, well, this one's probably going to be wreaking havoc first. Let's maybe get on that. And I just find it interesting that there's not like this, there's not groups, and there's not like a Greta Thunberg of this, and there's not, like, it's just strange to me, right? It's just a little odd. And again, universal basic income, people kind of like the idea of it, the same reason people liked universal or free health care when they tried to use that word. And I remember I had a guy say to me the one day, he wrote in, but this is about 5 years ago too, and he was like, why do you always get mad about free health care? It's free, what do you care? I was like, oh my God, it's working. The messaging is working. They legitimately think it's going to be free. This is insane. And it made me crazy. It was like, dude, that's not gonna be free. What the hell are we talking about? Nothing's free. Hey, these doctors spent over $1 million, you know, a couple $100,000 learning how to do what they do. They don't want to get paid now. Really? Like, I mean, come on. It's just ridiculous, right? And so he's worried about this, and so am I. He ain't the only one. Palmer Luckey also believes we're headed for some serious problems with AI too. Who's he? Oh, just the billionaire creator of Oculus and founder of defense contractor Anduril Industries. Just that guy who thinks all of these robots are going to turn on you and they're going to kill innocent life. Yeah, that's what he said. They will be used in wars in the future, and it's a certainty, he says, it's going to kill innocent people. For sure. Quote, there will be people who are killed by AI who should not have been killed. That is a certainty if artificial intelligence becomes a core part of the way we fight wars. And it will, of course, be that. It's going to be really that into the, you know, the DMZ or whatever the hell it is, light everybody up, and then bring the drone back. Or, yeah, if the drone gets destroyed, the drone will buy another one, right? That, of course, is going to be a thing. which will then, I think, separate people from, honestly, this morning when I woke up on the doom and gloom, that is going to be a thing. And I think even beyond that, I think we could be headed for some iRobot issues. You know, your personal Jetsons bot in your house turns on you, chokes you to death, right? Like, perceives you as a threat, and the next thing you know, it just chokes you to death. And it's like, oh, whoops, it wasn't supposed to do that. Yeah, it turns out, dude, this thing is under... Did you not know? We recalled this version of that. Oh, what were you doing with the Series 10 model? Yeah, we recalled those, didn't you know? You had to send it back to the man. Things like that are going to happen. And I worry about that. And it makes me very happy, if I'm honest, about the era in which I grew up in. You know, right? And plenty of technology and advanced